Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a deep dive into a book called The Declaration of Interdependence
Oh, cool.
by Terry Sanders and Chad Steele.
Okay.
Now, this book,
hmm
it's got a lot of really interesting ideas in it,
Okay.
but one chapter in particular really kind of stopped us in our tracks and made us think,
Yeah.
and that was chapter 9,
Correct.
which is called A Dream for Humanity.
Yeah.
And it basically lays out this vision for a better future.
Right.
And, we wanted to bring in an expert to kind of help us unpack some of these ideas.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
And they are an expert,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to analyzing, societal structures
Right.
and sort of seeing patterns that maybe others miss.
Uh-huh.
So let's jump right into it.
Okay.
The chapter kicks off with this pretty bold statement.
Okay.
It says that humanity needs a major consciousness shift.
Okay.
We got to move from me to we.
See, that's interesting because what they're saying is that it's not really like technology that's holding us back.
Yeah.
It's not resources.
Right.
It's our own mindset.
Yeah, okay, so what does that actually look like in practice, though? I mean, how do we go from me to we?
Well, for one thing, it's recognizing that we're all interconnected.
Well,
It's recognizing that our own well-being is tied to the well-being of the whole.
okay, the we.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that includes all life,
Not just humans.
not just humans.
Wow.
Even generations that haven't even been born yet.
Wow, that's a huge shift.
It is.
I mean, are we even capable of that? I mean, I'm a little skeptical.
Well, then that's a good question to ask.
Yeah.
And it's one the authors address head on.
Okay,
They don't shy away from the challenges at all,
okay.
but they argue that this shift is not only possible, but it's absolutely essential if we want to survive as a species.
Yeah. Okay, so how do we do it? Like, what's the roadmap?
Well, one of the key ideas they introduce is this concept of a scalable model for cooperation.
Okay.
So it's basically like a blueprint for building a better future.
Okay, so what does that look like in real life?
So think of it this way.
Okay.
Every time you decide to help out a neighbor or do some volunteer work or even just listen to someone with a different point of view,
Right.
you're exercising that we muscle.
Oh, okay.
And when you do that, it scales up.
Okay.
Your actions end up inspiring others.
Right.
And then those actions inspire even more people.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
it creates this ripple effect of positive change.
So it starts with us,
It does.
but it doesn't end there.
It doesn't end there.
Yeah, so this infinity principle, the book talks about,
Yeah.
that suggests that, the more we focus on this we idea,
Mm-hmm.
the stronger our sense of global family becomes.
Exactly.
And that's kind of like the snowball effect, right?
Yeah, the more people buy into it, the faster it spreads.
So it sounds like it really is about a shift in consciousness.
It is.
And it's not just about changing our own behavior, but changing the culture.
Yeah.
So we thinking becomes the norm. But wouldn't that require like a pretty radical change to, well, everything? I mean,
Right.
our systems, our institutions, everything.
It would require some big changes, yeah.
Yeah.
But what the authors say is that these changes are possible.
Okay.
And they're already happening.
Really? Give me some examples.
Well, you can see it in things like the movement towards sustainable living.
Okay.
More and more people are demanding ethical and socially responsible businesses.
Right.
And the rise of collaborative workspaces,
Right.
community-based initiatives.
Okay, so it's not just a pipe dream.
No.
There's actual momentum building.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious,
Yeah.
what are the specific steps that we can take to actually contribute to this?
That's a good question.
How do we actually put these big ideas into action in our everyday lives?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, and that's exactly what we'll be diving into next.
Right.
So stay tuned, folks.
I'm ready for it.
It's about to get really interesting. So you're asking, how do we actually, translate these big ideas?
Into something real,
Mm.
into actions.
Yeah, how do we bridge that gap between theory and practice? It's all well and good to talk about cooperation and consciousness and all that stuff, but how do we actually, make it happen?
That's the question, isn't it?
Where do we even start?
And it's a tough one,
Yeah,
The book doesn't really give a step-by-step guide.
right.
And I think that's on purpose.
Okay.
It's not really about following some formula,
Yeah.
It's about a much deeper shift in how we see the world and our place in it.
Okay, I get that. But I need something I can work with here.
Sure.
Give me something concrete.
Well, remember that analogy of the mosaic?
Yeah, with each tile representing an individual and the whole mosaic representing humanity.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. and how like the quality of each individual tile affects the overall beauty and strength of the mosaic.
Okay, so now imagine you're actually building a mosaic.
Okay.
You would just like randomly slap tiles down, would you?
No, you'd have like a design in mind. You would, right. You'd have a vision.
You'd pick each tile carefully, thinking about the color and the shape and how it all fits together.
Exactly. And that's where individual integrity comes in.
Okay.
It's about being intentional with your choices.
Right.
Aligning your actions with the kind of world you actually want to see.
So it's like asking, what kind of tile do I want to be in this big mosaic of humanity?
Exactly. What values do you want to embody?
Yeah.
What impact do you want to have on the world?
Yeah, it's a good question.
It is, right? It's shifting from just passively existing to actively creating the world around you.
Yeah, that's a powerful way to think about it.
And that active participation is where that we me principle comes in.
Okay.
So once you've figured out your own values and what you want to contribute, then you can start making choices that actually benefit everyone, not just yourself.
So it's not about like ignoring our own needs.
Right.
Or sacrificing who we are as individuals.
Exactly.
It's more about seeing that we're all part of something much bigger.
Yes, it's like being on a team.
Right.
You have your individual role to play,
Yeah.
but you're all working towards the same goal.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connections here.
Good.
But how do we go beyond those individual actions and create real systemic change?
And that's where this idea of scalable cooperation comes in.
Okay.
It's about taking those small acts of integrity, that we thinking,
Yeah.
and finding ways to amplify them, make them bigger.
So it's not just about doing good in our own little corner of the world.
Right.
We need to figure out how to spread that.
Right.
To inspire others.
Exactly.
To get them to join in.
And how do you think we do that?
I mean, communication has to be a big part of it, right?
Communication is key.
It seems like it connects everything together.
It does.
Yeah.
It's the only way to share ideas and mobilize action.
Yeah, and build understanding between people.
Exactly.
And it's not just about talking, right? It's about actually listening.
Absolutely.
Being open to other perspectives.
Even perspectives you might disagree with.
Yeah.
It's about learning and growing, both as individuals and as a whole.
Okay, so we've got individual integrity,
Yeah.
the Weem principle, communication, and this idea of scalability.
Right.
Those are the key ingredients for creating real change.
Yeah, they all work together.
But I'm still kind of grappling with this whole embracing we over me thing.
Okay.
Like, I get it, but it also feels very idealistic.
Yeah.
Isn't there always going to be some level of self-interest?
Sure.
How do we balance those two things?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a really great question. And it kind of gets to the heart of this whole dream for humanity thing.
Okay.
It's not about like erasing our individuality or pretending that we don't have our own interests.
Right.
It's more about realizing that those individual needs are tied to the needs of everyone else.
So it's not like an either thing. It's more like a both hand.
Exactly. Think about it this way. When a whole community is doing well,
Yeah.
the people in that community,
Right.
they're going to be doing better too.
Like the saying goes, all boats rise with the tide.
Yeah, exactly. And the opposite is also true.
Right.
If a community is struggling, if there's inequality or lack of opportunity,
Yeah.
then it's harder for anyone to succeed.
Yeah, even if they're working hard or they have a lot of talent.
Exactly.
So it benefits us to actually care about other people,
It does.
to try to build a society that works for everybody.
That's a big part of it, yeah.
Okay.
It's not about pretending that we don't have our own needs. It's just about broadening what it means to be an individual.
Oh.
Like understanding that we're all connected to
A
these
lot.
larger systems.
And our actions have consequences.
Exactly. They ripple outwards.
Yeah. It's a whole different way of thinking about it.
It's not just me, it's us.
Right.
And when we start living that way, when we make choices that are good for everyone, it creates like a positive feedback loop.
Okay.
A society that's more peaceful and innovative.
Where people feel valued.
Exactly. And when people feel safe and supported,
Right.
they're more likely to share their gifts.
Yeah, contribute to the world.
Exactly. And that's how we reach our full potential as individuals and as a species.
So this dream for humanity is actually good for all of us,
It is.
both individually and as a group.
It's this beautiful vision of a world where we can all thrive, and not in spite of our differences, but because of them.
I love that. And what's so amazing is that it's not some far-off utopia.
Right.
It's a future we can start creating now
Exactly.
with each choice we make.
Every single day.
So for someone listening who feels inspired, maybe they feel that shift starting to happen.
Yeah.
What can they do right now to make a difference?
That's the question, isn't it? And I think the answer is pretty simple. Actually, just look around your community. What needs do you see?
Mhm.
How can you help out?
Right.
Use your own unique talents and passions to make a positive impact.
It doesn't have to be anything huge.
It doesn't.
Volunteering, donating to a good cause, just listening to someone who needs to talk.
Exactly. Every little bit counts. All those acts of kindness every time we connect with each other
Yeah.
and choose to put others first.
It all adds up.
It does. It's like we're building this mosaic together,
Yeah.
one tile at a time.
And for anyone who wants to learn more,
Yeah.
definitely check out the Declaration of Interdependence.
It's a great read.
Really inspiring and thought-provoking.
It'll give you hope.
Yeah. And some practical tools, too.
And remind you that we all have the power to make a difference.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
We'll see you next time.